Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Simply Coast. If it's your first time here, welcome, and please, just go ahead and subscribe and like. And for those who watched my last video, thank you guys so much for the love. Thank you guys so much for showing up. We're still trying to get to 1,000. I said 100,000 in Jesus' name, yeah. Name, yes. 1,000 subscribers. So we are on our way there. Share this video, like, and let me tell you something. I know my videos can be long sometimes, but just play it in the background. Just if you can mute it and just let it play all out so I can get my watch hours. Okay, thank you. Because yes, we're trying to, do all that extra stuff. All right.
I actually don't think they're that long though.
But people always, it'd be like 20 minutes and people be like, oh, your videos are long. I'm like, it's not even that long.
It ends by the time I blink, I'm like, oh, it's over.
You'll be on Netflix for like 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? So you can just put it on the background as you're, eating, drinking your coffee. Like, you don't always have to be in tuned all the time. Okay? Thank you. So today is different. We actually have a guest. All right? This here, Lola, you want to introduce yourself?
Okay, hi, so I'm Lola.
Girl, let me tell you, this girl, I thank God for her life. I thank God for her every single day. Like, she's definitely an inspiration. She is a pharmacist. Not just that, she's an amazing wife, amazing sister, and she is a mother of 3. Look at this girl. Just look her up and down. Just look her up and down. You don't even know that she popped out 3 babies. 3 whole babies. And not only that, she's a fitness fanatic. She has a brand. Her brand is Christ Soldier Fitness, right? Is it?
Yeah, Christ Soldier Girl Fitness.
Christ Soldier Girl Fitness. You can follow her on Instagram with her little workouts. Like, she knows how to make use of her environment. She knows how to turn, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, you just know how to just innovate it. She knows how to make use. Like, she's not a gym rat, right? But if you look at her and her muscle, you'd be like, what are you doing? This girl even has abs. Abs. Anyway, Sha. But today, we're just gonna have a conversation about our journey and transition into tech. Lola recently transitioned into UX UI design, right? She's actually the one who inspired me to make the switch. So you want to talk about like how you, like what happened and what inspired you to go into get into tech?
Okay, well, I guess first of all, I was forced into it thanks to getting laid off from pharmacy. But I've worked as a pharmacist for I think like 6 years. Before getting laid off, it was like 6 years.
Yeah.
And I always did it. I did pharmacy, and I always had this. I didn't think I was going to last that long in pharmacy. Like, I gave myself a cap of like 5 years, and then that changed to like 10 years in that work as a pharmacist.
I didn't know you had a cap.
I think right from the beginning, I was working in retail for like 4 years, and it wasn't really me. Like, I didn't love it. I was just not feeling fulfilled. I just didn't feel fulfilled with pharmacy. So it was something that I'd already given myself, like, I have to get at a certain point. And then it's funny because beginning of 2019, on my goals, I actually wrote it down that by the end of 2020, I was going to leave pharmacy. I didn't know what I was going to be doing, but I was going to leave pharmacy by the end of 2020. But then I guess God had other plans.
Let me tell you something. First of all, I didn't even talk about like how we met, right? So Lola was my classmate in pharmacy school. We went to the same pharmacy school out here in Baltimore. We weren't really close as we are now, right? Mm-hmm. We were cordial, because we're both Naija. So of course, all the Naija, community, we stuck together, right? But one thing about Lola was that she was a hustler. Like, even in pharmacy school, she started a cake business. She started making, and think with Lola, like, if it doesn't work out, she moves on to the next thing. Because I think, did you do the bead making?
Yeah,
she was making jewelry. She was making jewelry first. Did you do jewelry first and then?
I did jewelry first and then
she
the
did
cake.
Jewelry first and then the cake. And it was like, how are you able to manage this while in pharmacy school? Like, it makes no sense. But she didn't care, She would sell her cake, she would sell jewelry, and then I think, did you start the blog in pharmacy school?
I think towards the end of pharmacy school.
Okay, towards the end of pharmacy school. Yeah, so like she's always had that hustler mindset. you know. And I think that's what like amazes me, even like till now, like even like when we got laid off, you know, she not even sit and party. She not even, you know, pity herself, or there's no woe is me, blah blah blah. Please, I beg, continue with yourself, because I mean it's just amazing. Like when you think about like when you were laid off, you were on maternity leave.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was on.
So how like when you got the call, because she wasn't even in the we had a WebEx to let us know that we were getting laid off. I don't think you were in the WebEx.
Yeah, because I was already on the.
Yeah, she was on maternity leave, so she had a separate call.
I didn't have a separate call.
Wait, how did you?
Yeah, because there was one of our co-workers that called me. She's like, I guess the call had been over, and then she called and she's like, hey, that we're getting laid off. And I thought she was joking. I'm like, what do you mean we're getting laid off? I'm like laughing, like, what do you mean? She's like, yeah, I'm serious. I just got off a phone call that we're getting laid off. And then she's talking and kind of crying. So I was like, oh wow. It was kind of registering that maybe she's not joking at this point. And then I texted my manager. I'm like, hey, that this is what I heard. And then she's like, yeah, that you're unfortunately getting laid off, that you call me. And then she called me the next day. I was like, what is going on here?
Wow. So you didn't even, oh wow.
Yes, I didn't get an official call until like I heard.
So I'm curious to know like what was going through your mind, because like you said, you just had twins. She has twins. She's a twin mama. She just had twins. She has, I think Demi was probably like 3 at the time.
Yeah, I think
3 or 4.
Yeah, like 3, heading to 4.
Heading to 4. You know, they have a house, a husband. Thankfully, her husband is working, but you know, it's a partnership. So it's like, what was going on in your head when you got the call, when you got the confirmation that you ain't finna be coming back?
Yeah, I think when I heard, like, it was obviously shocking because I didn't even think that that was something that was possible. And then, but the crazy thing is, like, 2 weeks before then, I like had this weird, I don't know what to call it, if it was a dream or whatever. Like, I was like, oh, what if you actually get laid off from this job? Like, well, like I just had that for like 2 weeks before and told my husband, and he's like, ha ha ha, very funny. And then we moved.
Are you kidding me? You even had it, like, you just it crossed your mind.
Yeah, and then I told him, and he just laughed about it. And I was like, oh, that's not possible. Like,
I hope your husband would not be taking you serious or about whatever you say, because you had a dream that you were gonna have twins, and then you had a dream of that, you know, that this could be a possibility that you're gonna get.
Exactly. And then so
that's right. You better not.
So when I found out, like, I obviously after I got Miguel confirmed, then I cried and cried. My mom was around. I cried. I called my husband. I'm like, I have terrible news. He's like, what's this? I was like, I just got laid off. He's like, okay, calm down, that's not too bad. Because the way I reacted on the phone, he thought maybe someone had died or something serious. So I guess when I told him I was laid off, he kind of brought him that, okay, it's not that bad. Then it was like, oh man, but still bad in a way, because of course now we just had twins,
right?
And it's like even before getting laid off, we're already like concerned about the finances, like daycare and everything was already an issue. And then now I got laid off, so it's even the job that we were relying on it's gone as well. Like, we just really cried for that period. But I think my husband was the one that really made me have to change, like really think about things really fast.
Did you consider maybe looking into another pharmacy job, or were you just like, you know, this is my opportunity, let me just try to get out of here? Because like, I made the transition, right? But I could not imagine doing it with children in the picture.
Yeah, true.
You know, because that's like really scary. It's like when it's just you and your husband, you guys can manage yourselves. You guys can figure it out. But when you have kids in the mix, I mean, it's a whole different ballgame. So I cannot even imagine, like, you know, where your mindset was. Like, did you consider looking for another pharmacy job, or did you just like decide? Because it didn't even take long. You started your program.
I actually considered looking for another pharmacy job, but then things I hate, like, let me not say the word hate, but I didn't like pharmacy. Like, I really didn't like pharmacy. So then my husband knew that, my brother knew that, like everyone in my family knew that. So then my husband is like, why are you trying to look for another pharmacy job when you can just take this opportunity to like look for something else? Like, so he was like, yeah, he's like, why don't you just look for something else? But then he gave me a timeline. He's like, maternity leave ends January, so you have to by then have figured out what you're going to transition to, or get ready to look for another pharmacy job. And so at that point he's like, hey, he's encouraging me to look for something else, like why not take the jump? So then I talked to my brother. Yeah,
I actually encourage you to do that, especially like with everything going on. Like,
exactly, with everything going on.
Most people, like, fear would just be like, why would you leave something that's lucrative and go into something that you don't even know if you
if you get a job,
and you don't even know if you're gonna be making as much as you are making as a pharmacist.
Yeah, because I think that time was like, I'm not going to make as much as the pharmacist. Like, there was always that thought, and then it's like you might not get the job till like a year later. So there was always all those thoughts, but I think my husband was just like, you really don't like pharmacy, like just take this job. If it doesn't work out in a year or something, then we reevaluate what's going on.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, fast forward to January, you decided that, okay, I have this opportunity. So, like, what steps did you take to allow it to come to life? What were your next steps after you got the okay from your loved ones to...
Yeah, so for that, I actually never heard about UX design. Like, I never even knew anything about it.
Take me back to, like, what you were considering. Like, were you, like what were you saying? Okay, should I try this? Should I, how did you find your way into UX design? So
initially I was considering project manager, but then I looked at it and I was like, that's really not me. That's not something I can do. And it's like, why leave pharmacy and go into something you don't like again just because you're trying to transition? So then my brother is a data scientist, so he knew about Flatiron school.
Okay.
And kind of knew about UX design too. So then he's like, hey, that there's this program, Flatiron, and they have this UX design. So at that time he was like, oh, it's kind of similar to blogging, because he knew that I do. So he's like, it's kind of similar to blogging. And then I looked into it and it had a lot of design and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, this is something I could possibly do. So then there was like a few days of training or something that you could test out to see if it's something you like.
Oh, okay. Okay, so like the boot camp, because they had it for the software engineering.
Yeah, exactly. I think they had one for for the UX design as well.
Okay.
So I did that, and I was like, oh, this is actually seems like something I'll enjoy doing. So then I did that. Then time to apply. I applied, and I was just like, well, God, if this is not the area you want me to go into, then don't even let me get accepted. Like, because I was still scared, obviously. And then somehow I did the interview, got accepted, and I was like, okay.
I think I was there when you had the interview. I was at your house when you were doing the interview.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because I went down. Yeah, because I went downstairs.
Yeah, you went downstairs, and I was like watching the kids for you.
Yeah, exactly.
You. So you got in, and you're like, because the program was what at the time? Because I think they don't have it anymore. They have something else.
Yeah, so they changed. It's now called product design. Because before you had to choose between UX design and UI design, but now it's product design. So I think they combine everything. Yeah, they pretty much combine. So instead of you picking a track, you just do everything.
Okay. So walk me through like your time at Flatiron and your experience, because it was from her that I heard about Flatiron school, and I did not even have. Once she said it was good, and her brother told her about it, and you connected me with your brother's friend. I was like, okay, I'm sold. There's no need for me to come and be looking, different schools. If she has any issues, we're both gonna we'll both suffice together. So I will not be the only one. One thing about me is that I will not be the only man standing. Me and somebody, we gonna go down together. We gonna go down together. It's not just gonna be me. Talk to me about your first month, because like for me, even in my first month, I started like, Kosi, what the heck did you just do? What did you just do? Can you even do this thing? Like, who sent you? So like those doubts and imposter syndrome, talk to me about your, at least the first, because yours was longer than mine. Mine was 3 months, yours was 6, right?
Yeah, like 5.5 or so.
5.5, yeah.
So I think it's from tech that I first heard the word imposter syndrome, or like even knew it was a thing. Like, because before I never had that issue, but then I started this Flatiron thing, and I was just like, all this imposter syndrome just kept coming on me, like I'm going to fail in the first 1 month, because if you don't do well, then you have to stay back.
Oh yeah.
And like review. So I was just like the first month, like you said, I was like, what in the world did I get myself?
Seriously.
So like I don't even know anything about graphic design, using any softwares, like absolutely no idea. So I was like, I don't know what I got myself like into. And then with the kids again, and then right around that time was like I had just done 1 month, and then that's when COVID hit. So now the kids had to stay home from daycare, and then my mom, thankfully my mom was around. But before my mom came in, because she hadn't come,
your mom was around.
No, before COVID hit, she hadn't come yet. Because remember,
because then they didn't like close the borders, so she couldn't even leave. Then she left like in May or something, right?
Yeah, she left in July.
Yeah, in July.
But yeah, before she came, like at that time, I had started the Flatiron as already, and then there was no one to watch the kids. So I'll watch the kids or like text friends, text family. Like you came a couple times to watch them. So they're like, oh, what day can you come? Like Monday, I'll put it in. How many hours? Like, because I had to track it to make sure like I had time to do my assignments or stuff. So I'll put it in that time. So thankfully, I'm like so thankful for the support I had, because that really helped me. me. Like
Thank
I
God
don't
for-
even think I could have done
honestly,
it.
man, let me just, change gears really quickly. Like, thank God for good friends. Like, you need a strong support system to even just be able to accomplish. Like, a lot of times people be like, oh yeah, you did it. No,
We did it. Yep, we
did it. Because I wouldn't have done it I wouldn't have gotten to where I was if it wasn't for the people that, supported me, that carried me along, So yeah, anyway, keep your story. So,
But yeah, so basically, well, it was definitely a struggle, like like keeping up with the pace of everything. Because even with family and everything, it's still a lot dealing with like the assignments, dealing with like, or especially when it came to group work. I think that was one area that I kind of struggled with because a lot of people in my group, they like were not married or didn't have kids, so it's just them. So it's like, oh, whatever time we are ready to rock and roll with meetings, we are ready to go. But it's like mine, I didn't have that flexibility of time. So I had to tell them, like, guys, like, try to get everything to work within my schedule. So that was another thing that I had to like battle with the whole like Flatiron program.
But you did it though.
Yep,
But you did it.
Yeah.
So okay, fast forward to completing the program. Well, because you completed like in July.
Yeah, July.
Right?
Yeah, first week in July.
So like, how was the job search for you? Because I know people want to hear about that. Like, how was the job search for you? I know how it was.
Yeah.
They want to know how it was. You know what I'm saying? That's what people are mainly concerned about. Like, how long it took. Like, they don't know if they have that much time, to like be looking for a job. So it was like, how was it for you?
I think I honestly say like it was frustrating.
Like how you had to really rely on your faith and to just really be at peace and not even question, man, did I make the right decision? Because I'm sure you had those moments.
Yeah, definitely had a lot. Like, because I finished in July, and then from July to like August, I didn't really have any interviews or no like I kept sending applications and nothing was coming through. Like I'll do the whole reaching out to people on LinkedIn, chat to like sometimes every week I'm chatting to like close to 10 people, like just chatting with them, trying to get my name out there.
I don't miss that. I don't miss that job search thing, man.
So like it just felt like a full-time job. So it was really frustrating, and then I just had to, like you said, like trust God and know that okay, like I believe God put me in this space, and He will see me through this whole thing. Like this is not just a waste of time. Like there's a reason why I'm there. And I think at some point I just had to realize, like even if I come out of this and I don't have a job, I have to go back to pharmacy. Like God put me here for a reason. I've learned a lot of things. I've learned about UX design. Like I've developed, even professionally, I've developed personally. Like gotten this extra hustle mindset. So even if I didn't get a job, like I've still grown as a person, like growth mindset. So I think just coming to that fact, like really helped me. Like, okay, at the end of the day, if I don't get a job, I still know that God put me here for a reason, and I achieved that reason. But yeah, it took me like 4 months to get the first contract. Remember, I had that contract.
Yes. And it was almost like pharmacy related because it was
exactly, because it was like a healthcare, pharmaceutical company. But then that just lasted. It was supposed to be like 12 weeks, and then they said they had budget cuts with COVID, so they ended up just being like 4 weeks or like three and a half weeks.
Can you imagine when you thought that, God finally opened the door?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yes, I got this. And all of a sudden.
Yep. Because I looked at it, I was like, because they said, oh, it'll be 12 weeks, there's potential to become full-time. So for me, I was like, yes, this is the door God opened for me. I'm going to start and then go right into full-time.
We're going to the full-time track. We're not doing this contract.
Exactly. So that was just why I was like, oh, this is the door. And then all of a sudden, it's like, boom. Like, because I was already preparing my speech, like, oh, this is how I'm going to talk to them in 2 weeks or whatever, that I'm trying to be that. So what's the steps towards becoming full-time? Then they'll tell me, oh, they are ready, they're going to try. Like, I prepared all the speech in my head. And then boom. I got laid up. Like I just showed up.
You know what though? Like looking at you now, like knowing your story, like it's just amazing how you like sometimes you just think that, oh my God, this is like the worst thing that ever happened to me. But it's like God, He has a bus just ready for you. He has a bus. Like you're asking for a car. He has a bus ready to just fill with your blessing. Because now like. After that, you had to go back to the drawing board, right?
Yep.
To go back to applying, and I can't even imagine like how you felt. How did your husband feel?
Oh, after getting from the second one,
Uh-huh.
from the contract, he actually took it well. Like for him, I think I'm always the one that feels like, oh, this is a problem, this is a problem. But for him, it was just like, oh well, moving on, move to the next one. At least he's like, for him, it's like you have this experience, you can put this on your resume. Like he was just talking about, you have this experience, like just keep it, like just keep moving. Like you don't have to. For him, he doesn't have time to just sit down, start moping around and being satisfied.
Moping around.
So that was just, and for again with this contract role that I got, if I had gotten full time, I wouldn't even be where I am now. And which was one of that thing that I always wanted. I wanted a position that knew that I was just transitioning and did not expect me to like work at this high level, that understood that I can work at that pace. But this job wasn't. It wasn't like that. Like they expected me to work at the pace of the other people. So that was because I remember there was once I made this mistake, and then this girl is like, when did you, she's like, wait, how long have you been working again? Like she just had this, there was this word she used, and just like I felt bad.
Was she a UX designer?
Yeah, she was a UX designer. She was a senior UX designer. She's like, oh, how long have you been working again that you don't know this stuff? And I was just like, yeah. So that just really put me down. So that was one thing. I always wanted a job that understood, that was fresh, and like could work at that pace with me. So if I had gotten full time with that position, I'd have been stuck there. I wouldn't even be where I am.
Yeah, and you wouldn't be like right now, like, you know, fast forward, you know, so, you know, talk about like you don't have to mention like, you know, where you work if you don't want to, but like just talk about like, okay, you saw this opportunity, you know, with it was for an internship, right? Apprenticeship. Yeah. So like talk about your steps with that, like you're like, you know, when you saw that stuff, especially being in the mindset that you were, you know, like what was even going through your head, because it's for a big company, like it's for a large tech company. So it's like, you know, when you saw the application for this apprenticeship, you know, what's
funny enough, I didn't even see it. So you were the one that sent it to me.
Oh
You sent it to me.
Oh yeah, because I was not even interested in it, but I was like, you know, they had a UX designer track, and I just sent it to her.
Yeah, because I never saw it. I never heard about this program before, and then I saw it in my email. You sent it to me, but at that time I was still like in this mindset. So I was like, oh, I'm going to apply to this one. I'm probably not going to get in or whatever. So I was just like, I didn't really want to apply, but I mean, I opened it on my laptop and just put it there because the application hadn't opened yet. But then I just put it. I was like, fine, like I'll look into it, but I don't think I'm applying anyway. So I left it there, and then someone else tagged me on they had put a post on LinkedIn, so someone else tagged me again, because again I told a lot of people that I was looking for, like I had transitioned. So that girl, we barely even talk. Like I don't even know how she remembered me and like tagged me on it. Then I saw it the second time, like great, fine.
So it's like, okay, I have to do this now. This is guy, like
exactly.
Okay. So the first person, all right, but the second person, all right, that's just probing you is like, okay, I gotta do it.
Yeah, because I was like, it doesn't cost me anything. I mean, just send the application and do it. If they say no, then at least I did it. So then I applied, and so they had this info session where they talked about the program and talked about everything, like what you need to do, requirements and stuff. So I went on that and then filled out the application, and then it took like a month before I heard anything as far as like interviews. It took like a month. At this point I had already given up, like, but then I reached out to some people at the company to like talk about, like just put my name out there and talk and get more information.
Okay, so you reached out to people like within the company?
Yeah.
Okay.
To like talk and get more information about the program, which was really great and like really helpful as well. And then a month later I got an interview. Well, I'm trying to remember because I chatted with you around, because at this time
was this like around January? Okay.
I think you had just gotten your offer.
Yeah, I just got my offer for my own internship.
Yeah, and then you were telling me about it. I remember that day I was feeling down, like, oh man, that she has already gotten her. And then you called me. You were talking about something like, because I was also saying how like I feel like when I start talking and like envisioning myself in a position that it doesn't happen. So then you were talking about it, and just like that, I'm like, when I'm envisioning, like I'm not envisioning it in my own power, that I'm envisioning and like trusting God, that God, you're the one that's going to take all the glory. Like even though I see myself like you're taking it by force, but also it's in God's glory. It's in God's hands.
It takes faith for you to even envision or imagine the things that you're desiring for.
Exactly.
You know, so it's like you even being able to see, because it's like the verse Mark 11:23. You know, when you pray, the verse that says, when you pray about anything, believe that you have already received it. You know, so it's like you're praying for this job, you're praying for this opportunity. Like you should like see yourself there, especially if you believe that this is where God is leading you to. God is able to do if you just trust. You know, like us leaving our jobs, or not even leaving our jobs, right? Because our job decided to
send us out.
So not really, but leaving a profitable career, right, and taking a bold step to transition into something completely different, you know. And it's like, for me, especially like working as a software engineer and pharmacy, it's like day and night.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's completely like, there's no relation at all. Like, I cannot, it's like, it's one thing to move within tech. Like, let's say I decide, you know, I'm like,
program manager or something.
Become a program manager or project manager. Like, it's all within the same kind of like, you know, bubble, just different, you know, different members or whatever. So like for you, it's like, okay, so you got the internship, right? And you're working with the goal to, you know, become full time. So like, how was the internship? Like, do you feel like you were prepared? Do you feel like, you know, they were accommodating to your being a, what's the word I'm looking for? Someone who transitions, a transitioner. You know, like the people, like, were you like, when you look at your cohort, right? Were you like the only one who transitioned from something else, or?
Yeah, so it's actually all of us, because the way the apprenticeship was it's for non-traditional people, so people that didn't go to design school, transitioning from anything, or maybe you took a career break or parenting or something. So it's basically geared towards people like that, which was good for me, because then it's like they know you're fresh, you don't have this past experience.
Right. So you guys were able to support each other.
Yeah,
like,
really,
you guys were all pretty much starting from a clean slate, you know, and you guys were just growing together. So then fast forward, you know, because it was 4 months, right?
Yeah, 4 months.
It was 4 months, and it's time to, like, you know, you get the job, right? Like, how was the experience with that? Like, what was, like, how was that for you? Do you feel like you feel like you were qualified enough to, you know, expect a full-time offer?
And so we had 2 review sessions, like when they look at, like, give you feedback and see how you're doing. So the first one was, I think, end of May, and I had my manager, and I was like, oh, things are going pretty well. But so with him, most things are going well, but again, because I just transitioned, I didn't have that like graphic design, those type of skills. So that was one area that he was like, oh, that he felt like I was struggling with. But I needed to work on it. So then I was like, okay, that's not too bad, I can work on it. But then the person in charge of the program, like the contracting company in charge of that, reached out to me, and she's like, oh, this is what your manager said, that it seems like they might be leaning more towards extending your contract, that it doesn't sound like he's as confident in you and coming full time. And so I remember telling you about that too.
Like, share your testimony. This is the platform. Do it. Share it right now. Don't even. Like, Lola, okay, so you had the situation where they were not sure, they were choosing to extend your contract as opposed to give you.
Yeah, exactly. And the credit.
So, mom, finish the thing. Go on, Joe.
And the crazy thing is with this one, like, sorry, go on.
No, I'm just like, because it's mind blowing. Like, just go on.
No, it's really just God. Because before this first feedback,
don't tell me.
Before this first feedback, like, I was always, like, I'll stay up till like 12 a.m. or like 1 a.m. trying to practice and do stuff. And mind you, I had set, so for myself, I put 11 p.m. as my devotion time. But it's like, I'm trying to practice and do so well in this thing. Like, I was skipping devotion, like any personal time with God, like just doing my own thing. Like, I have to hustle to get this position. Like, that was the mindset I was in. And then come this first feedback, and then it's like all the work I've been doing. It said, oh, everything is great except your design skills. I have to work on that. So this was why he wasn't sure that I'll get a full-time role. So then I just started crying, because I'm like, God, like, I've been working so hard, like doing everything I need to do, and here I am. So at that point, it was like, just like, not just basically told me, like, I'm doing everything in my own power, like, I'm doing everything by myself, like, you're not spending time with me, you're staying up, like, just working so hard, like, it's not bringing any results. So at this point, I just really had to, like, okay, calm down, like, God, just take over, like, do what you want to do. And it's so funny, like, by the second review, the guy's like, you've exceeded my expectations, like, you've transformed, like, changed a lot. And I look back, I'm like, I didn't do anything different, like, I don't know what I did.
That's the thing that blew my mind. Like, she didn't do it. The time that she was spending to 1 o'clock to
I stopped on that. Like,
it was not good enough. But the minute she decided to be still, and know who God was, just like this girl, let me tell you, this girl, like, that's why I hold on to her, because I'm like, your faith, I want it.
Oh, your faith,
I need it. Like, I need it, because it's like, it's a reminder that, for me, one of my favorite verses, Matthew 6:33. Seek the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, and everything shall be added onto you. Like, literally, like, the moment she decided to just, God, I'm going to be in communion with you. I'm going to stand by you. I'm going to trust you. It's like that. It's like the part in the Bible where it's in 2 Chronicles where he told them to stand firm and he will fight for them. I don't remember the story, but it's like the army. Yeah, I remember this. Yeah. You remember so where all they had to do was just stand still and God was just going to fight for them, and they won that battle. They won that battle. And when I hear a story like this and story like this, right, it inspires me my own journey that when you're just feel like you have to be busy and hustling and doing this, but you're not seeing anything. When you're constantly, doing, and you're not seeing any result, it's a reminder to just sit your butt down and just let God fight for you, because you're just gonna wear yourself thin, and you're like running. It's like a hamster running on a hamster. Exactly. They don't get anywhere. They're just exhausting themselves out, and it's like you waste time, you waste your health doing that. But if you just stand still and just let God fight for you, like, this is a model of that. Anyway, shall I finish your story? So they came back and they said that you've been doing amazing.
And I was like, okay, like, it was so, like, I was so shocked. Like, when he said it the first time, I didn't really believe. I was like, they're probably going to tell me something different the next day. So I was like, okay, but at this point I didn't believe him, because I'm like, I didn't do anything different. So the next day again, I waited and he repeated the same thing. I still didn't really believe him till the person in charge of the program now reached out. I was like, hey, they want to offer you full time. I was like, oh, so this is actually happening, because I was like, I did not do anything extra. Like, I don't even know what it was like.
And let me tell you something, right? It was just God. And you know what's amazing, right? She went into this field thinking that she might not even make as much as she did as a pharmacist.
Exactly.
She's making the same amounts that she made when she started at the job that she got laid off from. Tell me that's not God. Like, tell me that is not. Like, let me tell you, man, like, sometimes all you have to really do is just take a leap of faith. Don't even worry about the how. Don't even worry about the how. Don't even worry about the how. Let God figure it all out. Let him figure it all out. Not only that, the benefits that she could bring. She could not even smell it in pharmacy. Now, that kind of benefit, you not even smell it in pharmacy. And it's a reminder of just, I feel like I'm going to keep repeating the same thing. Trusting God.
Yeah, just trusting God. Like,
trusting
seriously.
God. Trusting God. Like, I'm just so, like, amazed, and I'm so thankful that, you and I crossed paths. I'm so thankful for that, because, I felt like, if I didn't see her hustling, and not even hustling, like, she's like out there, she's like doing everything, she's doing this, she's here, she's there. No, but just like hustling in faith. There's a difference. There's one thing to be hustling in the world, and there's one thing to hustle in faith. And Lola has always been an example of that. Even in pharmacy school, like I wasn't, I was still figuring out what my faith was. I was still figuring out relationship, but she knew what it was. Even her story of how she even got into pharmacy school, that one's testimony in and of itself. Because we both got laid off, that's how we grew close, right? Because I came to visit your babies when you had twins, and then we just started talking, and one thing led to another. And when I saw her going into US design, I said, what am I doing? Let me go and transition too. If she can do it, has 3 kids, me, that's just me and my husband, no children yet, they're on their way. What is it that, what excuse do I have? I got to know you, and I pray that God will continue to just, elevate us, take us to higher places. Like, this is just the beginning.
This is just the beginning.
This is just the beginning. Like, I'm so amazed. I'm so, like, excited to see what God is about to do in your life, in the life of your family, life of everyone that you cross paths with, because I know it's going to be amazing.